Good evening, sim racing fans, as we welcome you back to the Oxford Plains Speedway for the Upstate Racing League as we get back on track and resume action for the 2015-2016 championship for race number 2 in the Upstate Racing League Les Enterprises MP Roy Pro Late Model Series this afternoon from the Oxford Plains Speedway as we welcome you into the pre-race show for the Hanson Starter Shop 100. Evan Pasoko, Cisco Scaramouza along for the ride with you. Our executive producer, as always, is Laura Lawson and Cisco. We head to the Oxford Plains Speedway. Season officially back underway here Thursday nights on LSRTV. However, not a regular short track that we visit here this evening. It is the Oxford Plains Speedway. First off, there's no outside walls, so that'll be fun to talk about when we see these guys start to rough it up. But more importantly, this 3/8 of a mile speedway is really more of a circle than an oval.
Yeah, it'll remind a lot of our viewers sort of like a paved dirt track. You kind of see there's no real straightaway here, a little bit on the back stretch, a little bit on the front stretch, but it's not enough to actually call it a front or back straightaway. So an interesting characteristic, and the other interesting characteristic, which might play into effect tonight, is going to be those mounds where the lights are. You know, if a car goes spinning off the track, that's the last place you want to end up.
It's got curbs like Martinsville on the inside. There's no outside retaining wall. It is a down homegrown short track, and we're glad to have you with us. Qualified right now, just beginning to wrap things up, and it looks like at the moment the fastest driver in practice, the fastest driver in qualifying for the moment. CJ Laver's number 44 machine sits on the provisional pole position. These drivers qualify in a 10-minute qualifying session, 2 laps of single car closed lap qualifying, and right now it is that 44 machine right in front of your defending series champion Brandon Otto. Right now sits P1 and then P2, but we look forward to this race again. Had last week off with our special coverage of the Sarah Fallbrawl Spectacular, and now our regular Thursday night short track action back at it. If you weren't with us 1 week ago, last week's winner was the driver of the number 97 machine, John Ada, took home the checkered flag in the season opener, winning at the Iowa Speedway. He as well won the Mach 2 Racing Management Hard Charger Award for gaining the most positions from the start to finish in that one. Justin McDuff winning the Rookie of the Year for the highest placing rookie in the number 91 machine. Tonight, you're going to have a couple of exciting people to talk to as we go along for this one. We do have the A Designs wraps on board with the number 51 of Justin Fuller. We'll talk to him throughout the evening, get some inside perspective on what these drivers are taking a look at. But 25 cars, a very interesting racetrack. This is a track where, as always, like we see every week in the series, we're going to do 100 laps, so we're totaling out at 37.5 miles start to finish. Doesn't sound like a lot, Cisco, much like last week at Iowa. It won't take that long time-wise, but when you're out there, we talk about how if you have a 100-lap race, that's, 200 sets of corners. Really, though, at Oxford, there is no break from turning. If these guys get loose on a long run, they're going to have to deal with that all night long. It is going to be an interesting race because, again, Oxford, unlike anything else we see on the schedule, and I'm not really surprised that the names you're seeing up in the top 5 in the current qualifying being Odo, O'Neill, Graves, O'Rourke. I'm not surprised at some of those bigger names because this is a tricky racetrack. Anybody can drive it. It takes a great driver, though, to get those good laps up top.
Yeah, and it also takes a great driver to be able to be consistent here. Like you said, there's no real break from turning, so you have to make sure you hit your mark every single line or every single lap, and you can't afford, a little bit of a break or anything like that. As soon as it's basically you're stuck in your groove all the way around the track, so you have to make sure and not make a mistake, because if you do, you'll pay for it easily in a lap, because these laps, we're talking about 15, even sometimes if they're hooked up, 14-second laps, which is crazy. So this is going to be a real short race, but you got to hit your marks, because otherwise, like you said, there's no outside wall, so if you go flying off the track, bye-bye.
There are some rare occasions where that helps some of the guys, and we saw that last season where they go flying off into the grass and, hey, there's no wall, so you keep going. Problem is, if you go off the track, there might not be a caution flag that comes out. You talked about the dirt mounds. Those aren't friendly. We talk about the curbing at this racetrack. It's kind of like at Martinsville, but Martinsville is actually a curb that you could pull up to a driveway on. This is a curb where it's a 90-degree corner, and then you're going up to a string. So these guys, left side tires on the curb, you don't want to get them down on the curb. And, as of course you would imagine, the bottom is the quickest way around. A lot of guys are going to be cheating that curb. That could cause some adverse handling conditions through the evening. 2015-2016 Upstate Racing League Pro Late Model Series season is presented this year by Lays Enterprises, MP Roy Incorporated, a distributor and retailer of motorsports products, including electronic communications equipment, safety equipment, and race car bodies. You can find out more at Lays Enterprises, mproyinc.com. So we look forward to this one again, the Hanson Starter Shop 100. It is the second race of 12 on this 2015-2016 championship. Your Varno Construction Championship standings are exactly what your finishing results were from the Iowa Speedway. John Ada tops the pile, and DeSouth Smith Jr. second right now in the points. Brandon Otto sits third. Charlie Ryan actually tied with Philip Thompson for P4, P5 in the points. Eric Haig is sixth. Nicholas Rasmussen seventh. 8th and 9th tied together. You have Jason McDuffin and AJ Hamill, Dale O'Neill rounding out your top 10 runners at the moment. A lot of drivers, not a whole lot of room, and we're just about to get set to get Thursday night short track racing underway. Before we get this one officially started, we talked about the curb, we talked about no outside wall, Cisco. What would you think as a driver would be your main thing to look at here tonight?
Well, I was talking to TJ Graves before the race, and he said the number one thing he's looking out for is the car gets really loose on a long run. You talked a little bit about it, where having to deal with those loose cars, it's going to be a real handful tonight because you don't stop cornering. And from what TJ tells me, these cars get really loose as the run goes on. So it's going to be up against these drivers to try and save these tires and save those tires to make sure they don't start kicking the tail out towards the end of the run, because that could be dangerous and, could potentially just end your race right there.
And the drivers are about to get going. Let's go trackside for the opening ceremonies and the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
The field rolls, and we get set to get race number 2 underway for the Hanson Starter Shop 100. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV. The pace car going to duck down and away the next time around, and will officially go green tonight. Take a quick look at your starting grid. The top 2, no changes from the latter stages of qualifying. CJ LeVere on pole. Brandon Otto will start in the number 2 spot. It'll be Dale O'Neill, TJ Graves, and EJ O'Rourke inside of the top 5. Joshua Cotton, Tony Mongi, Rodney Hack, Nicholas Rasmussen, and Philip Thompson through the top 10. The pace car going to make that sharp left-hand turn now and down out of the way. The 44, he can go from that point right there to the drop of the green. He's in control of the field. Green flag flies and underway from the Oxford Plains Speedway. Race number 2 is green and still sticking side by side down to turn number 1. Already seen the advantage of the inside lane play true. Leader gets clear now, the 54 machine, Dale O'Neill. He tries to take second from Brandon Otto. It's your defending champion and TJ Graves, the first 2 drivers stuck up top side. 22 drops down. O'Rourke not cut the 24 some slack, and the iRacing Memes Corvette dropping backwards.
And right now the 44 is starting to pull away a little bit from the field now that he's not running side by side. So he's got about a car length on second place right now, Dale O'Neill in that 54. Looks like right now, it looks like the 81 of Joshua Cotton's the only car right now in the top 10 kind of stuck up on that outside. So he's going to look and maybe try and fall in line here behind maybe the 71 or the number 12 of Brian Rogers Jr. And right now, as our field continues to go single file, looks like everything's pretty calm for the moment.
If they get single filed out, they can get a chance to start and go racing. Only side by side you have right now inside of the top 10. The number 81 of Joshua Cotton. He was scored P8 the last time by. He'll duck in behind Brian Rogers Jr., so he'll find himself in 9th position before it's all said and done. And other than that, at least at this time, everybody's single filed out. Now that you've gotten in line, now that you know where you are, and really for those guys on the outside, you're counting how many spots you lost. If you started on the inside, you're counting how many guys you passed from being on that preferred lane. It's time to get at it. Already 6 laps through. If this race goes green all the way, you're not looking at much more than 25 minutes because these guys get about 4 laps every single minute. They are out there on the racetrack, but CJ LeVere obviously taking advantage of that gap he got from being the control car. He was cleared down the backstretch on the opening lap, and at the moment, over half a second in front of Dale O'Neill. Things getting fun, though, behind E.J. O'Rourke, the Gary Mercer Truck and Incorporated Chevrolet in 3rd right now, and it's T.J. Graves, who really didn't get hurt all that badly. The number 22 double clutch entry started in 4th, sits P4 right now. He wants to keep going forward, though, and he's been a little bit cozy with the back bumper of that 41 in front of him.
Yeah, he's definitely been cozy. He keeps running over those curbs trying to get to the inside there because EJ's trying to arc the corner a little bit more, and TJ's trying to use that opportunity to get to the inside. So far, his attempts have failed so far, but we'll see what happens, and we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, it's another battle sort of brewing right now is between the number 12 car, Brian Rogers Jr., and that 81 machine of Joshua Cotton. And it looks like I believe Joshua Cotton's just fallen out of the sim, Ben.
He's running in 9th position at the scoring stripe, but is not currently on track. That's one of the things that's a factor always in sim racing, is hoping that you can maintain a stable connection to the sim. And it looks like Joshua Cotton, one of the series regulars, may be dropping out of this race from an early race problem. You talk about problems, the 98 of Eric Hagg sits 2 laps down in P26. He's the only driver now, excluding Joshua Cotton, that is off at the lead lap. The Hagg TV machine must have thought that it was going to hit the fan on the opening lap. He started from his pit box. He now finds himself 2 laps down after being held about 15 seconds after the drop of the green flag, which at this racetrack is essentially a lap before he was allowed to get back out there. That's going to be a long night for him. He needs at least 2 cautions if he wants to get back into the picture. The picture, though, for 3rd is still the same, but I'll tell you what, these guys have been going at it. TJ Graves, you talk about that 22. He keeps cheating that curbing, All right, fair enough, but once these tires get some wear on them, that car's not going to be able to take that kind of punishment. He's all over the back of the 41, and in turn, because of that, it's that 24 of Odo who's rolled over the back of him, finally going to break through to the inside. He gets there, making a side-by-side fight for 3rd. Graves on the inside, and it's O'Rourke up top. A little bit of contact. They race hard in 3.
And right now, the Corvette duo of Odo and Monge going to try and follow TJ through right there as EJ O'Rourke is kind of cut to the outside. Got a little contact there with the 24. He's trying to get back in line, maybe trying to pinch those guys down. Maybe they'll make a mistake, but TJ is going to go through to 3rd. The 24 of Brandon Odo, he's going to go through to 4th now. And now EJ is going to fall back to fighting for 5th with the number 92 of Tony Monge. Behind him now, Nicholas Rasmussen. He smells the blood in the water, and he's going to try and get to the inside of EJ as well.
And again, that 92 teammates with the number 24, Tony Monge, in the inside lane to the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. O'Rourke up on the outside of the racetrack, really now in no man's land because everybody's stacked up behind him. It's hard enough to make a pass here when obviously the outside not the place to be to make a defensive move, but when everybody gets stacked up behind, it is difficult to get in line. Finally, they'll jump down in front of the number 71 Smith Media Productions entry of Nicholas Rasmussen, finally in P6, but after running in 3rd for the most part of this race is quite a drop. Still 24 guys on the lead lap, and the biggest gap amongst positions is still P1 and P2. It is still all CJ LeVere out in front of the field right now. The Machwood Racing Graphics Chevrolet SS Dale O'Neill doing a good job in P2. The Twisted T Chevy just 0.8 of a second off in P2, but behind them, that's where that big gap is. Let's see what kind of speed Graves, Odo, and Monji have, because again, they were fighting with EJ O'Rourke. In all of that, they lost 2.5 seconds. That's a good percentage of a lap at the Oxford Plains Speedway. So now that they've got clean track in front of them, if they don't fight amongst themselves, we'll see how fast they are in comparison to your leader. However, I can't guarantee you that Brandon Odo does not want to try to make a move on TJ Graves. Graves just in front of him, the 24 and his teammate just behind, awfully close on the back decklet of that double clutch entry.
And right now, EJ O'Rourke just got punted by Nicholas Rasmussen, and EJ got punted to the outside, so once again, he's going to continue to drop spots. With the 71, it looked like just kind of got in the back of it. Now EJ's going to slide up the track a little bit. That part of the groove of the track not really making that car happy as he kind of dirt tracks it around 4. And meanwhile, we got another car sideways. That was the number 52 of Bruce Hilton. He's really starting to fight. Daniel, there he goes. Tag, turn around, caution.
Sideways, the yellow flag will fly, and caution number 1 at lap number 24. The number 52 of Bruce Hilton gets turned around. Yellow flag out on that. You just saw the side-by-side replay with EJ O'Rourke, and what you saw was those left side tires on the 41 actually got onto the curbing, got out of line. Rasmussen, the slightest contact, eventually spit that 41 out of line, so Rasmussen will take the spot before the yellow. Now you'll see what causes this contact that you were talking about. Hilton was a little bit sideways, not the best exit of turn 4. It gave a big run to those guys on the outside, and it was the number 51 machine up top side trying to make the move. Justin Fuller started to make his arc into the corner. 52 is slow in front of him. Small tap once to get him out of shape. Second tap out of turn 2, and he wasn't able to get off him at that point. Eventually sends that car in. The caution flag does fly. Already, though, at quarter distance, and it does not look like anybody from the top running spots down to the pit lane this time. Typical iRacing short track tire rules, I'll call it, because there are 4 tires left onto the pit lane. You can take 4 at once. You can take 2 swings of right side tires. Very common to see on the short tracks. Looks like nobody taking advantage of either options quite yet, at least for your leaders.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting here on the restart because TJ Graves has moved up to 3rd now, so he's going to be on that restarting on that inside line, and I believe CJ as well is going to be starting on that inside line. I wouldn't want to start on the outside, but it's going to be interesting here to see how aggressive that 22 machine is going to be and trying to kick the 54, I should say, out to the outside. We saw him do it to EJ, so I wouldn't expect any less here from TJ.
And he's going to find himself in 3rd, so that is a very good position to find yourself in. Again, the inside, much rather the place to be than if you were to find yourself up on the outside of the racetrack. Hanson Starter Shop offers all of your electrical rebuilding needs in West Chazy, New York. We offer quality electrical rebuilding services in the area, and we also offer reliable and dependable electrical services. You can learn more about Hanson Starter Shop, including information on starters, alternators, generators, and interstate batteries. Contact them today at 518-493-5103. Title sponsor on tonight's Hanson Starter Shop 100. We're doubled up. We're getting ripping and roaring to go back at it. Light's going to go back on for a moment, though. A couple of guys at the back got to get reordered up.
Yeah, I believe that was the 51 of Justin Fuller came down pit road there and wasn't actually caught up to the field. So they're going to delay the green, get him reordered now. And it's going to be Cotton and Hager, your 2 cars, 1 and 2 laps down respectively. So those 2 are going to be looking for a couple more cautions here. But the field stacked up now as we're getting set to go green here.
Yeah, Fuller finds himself at the back after he was deemed the cause of that caution. He receives an end of the longest line penalty. The base car going to get down to the way this time. CJ LeVere in control. He elects to go a little bit earlier. Green flag in the air and back at it at Oxford Plains Speedway. Just now 70 laps to go in this race, and a 44 trying to pull out in front. He does so. It's also going to be good news for TJ Graves. The 22 car is clear. 54 sideways, top side. Dale O'Neill will save it. However, Brandon Odo is able to get to the inside of the racetrack. He's got his teammate right behind him. I don't expect it to be easy for that 54 to get back down. He's stuck up top, but trouble back in the pack. Big wreck in turns 1 and 2. Caution flag back out. 91 machine is involved.
Yeah, that's a pretty big wreck, and we're we're bringing up an old talking point left over from Five Flags, but it looked like the incident there happened. Looks like, I believe that's the 20 got kicked out of line there, and it looks like the 51, the 18 weren't able to get checked up in time, so we're going to bring it up again. Those secondary wrecks, they still exist. It's not just at Five Flags. It looks like the 18 just couldn't get it stopped in time, and the 91 definitely couldn't get stopped in time as he plowed into the back end of the 18.
And that's almost the case where you want those cars to slide up and over the banking out into the grass. But yeah, Al Smith Jr. going into turn number 1, series administrator, and as well second place right now in your Varno Construction Championship standings. You take a look at the contact again here. 17 to Philip Thompson, the one that looked to the bottom. Just a little bit of a late arc for the 17. I don't think he overshot it, just a little bit of a late arc for the room that Al had given him. 20 car got sideways. And now obviously for the 18 machine, nowhere for him to go, pinned up topside. AJ Hamill gets into it. We talked about the number 91 machine, and because of that, caution flag comes back out. Al Smith Jr. actually on the outside of the racetrack, though, does claim responsibility for that incident, so he will receive the end of the longest line penalty. He'll go to the back for the following restart. Cotton lost the lap. We talked about Justin McDuff, the number 91 machine who was involved in that incident. In the secondary incident, Cisco, as you had mentioned, now he was not part of the initial contact. He also loses a lap. Eric Hag still stuck 2 laps down, hoping to find himself a lucky dog spot, but at least at the moment he is not. Joshua Cotton in the Ollie's Bargain Outlet machine. That Chevrolet is your lucky dog for this caution flag. He'll come back to the lead lap, and that just leaves McDuff and Hag both 2 laps at a negative. Now, Hag would, at least at this moment, assume the lucky dog position for the next yellow. The 91 is still down in the pits.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting here on this restart because we saw TJ Graves start on the inside. Now he's going to get kicked to the outside because he actually got past the second place car, the number 54 at the time. And now the 24, Brandon Odo, he's going to get the opportunity to start on that inside. So he's actually better off than TJ is. So lights are going to go out here on the American Childhood Cancer Organization Ford Mustang pace car as we get set to go green here. Going to be an interesting restart here. We know TJ's aggressive. How aggressive do you think he's going to be trying to get to that inside line?
Well, the outside is not the place to be, and the laps continue to tick off, which means you can't afford to be going backwards. What is the battle on the front row going to look like? CJ LeVere still in front. Green flag flies back in the air. We go. Lap 38 now in the works. And no hole on the bottom at the moment. 24, Brandon Odo. He ducks to the inside. He'll get clear of the top lane in second. Side by side for third. Really, it's a question of how long does it take Tony Mongi to get clear. He gets third. Graves tries to come down. There's not a lane. Back up the racetrack hard into the outside wall goes the 54 machine. Caution flag will fly, and now we're wrecking down in turn number 1. Graves involved in the accident, and the 2 car really torn up. That is Matt Holtzclaw. Caution flag back out, and I think that, Cisco, answers your question on how aggressive you want to be to get down to the inside of the racetrack. We'll put the replay up in a moment. Graves saw a spot. It wasn't really a move. What he's hoping on is he was hoping at number 71 and Nicholas Rasmussen cuts him a break, because if he doesn't go for that, that's at least another 3-4 spots he loses. He gets sideways, and the 54 is a huge hit to the outside wall. That's the cause of the actual caution flag initially for Dale O'Neill. Graves, though, well out of shape. He slides back down the racetrack. He collects the 17, the 14, the number 26, the 2, and everybody piles on into that one. The big one, we'll call it, just prior to the halfway point. A lot of good race cars are junked down in turn 1, though.
Yeah, he couldn't really get that thing stopped and just slid back into the racing line there. And there are a couple cars there who had no idea what was going on and just bad luck, especially the 14 and the 17. The 17 of Philip Thomas kind of got tapped in the right rear there. He got spun out by TJ Graves, as well as the 14 of AJ Bunch. He had nowhere to go and just kind of got in the right front. So tough break for those guys, considering they had no idea what was going on and didn't really have a whole lot they could do there.
And it's funny, we talk about these guys running out of room. Well, we were just talking pre-race that there isn't even an outside wall in majority of the racetrack, and you guys still, though, car gets sideways, there's not a whole lot of options you have to try to get out of the way. So CJ Oliveira will be the control car for the 4th time consecutively. He has not given up the race lead all night long. However, Brandon Odo wants to put the number 24 iRacing Beams machine into victory lane for the first time on the season after coming home in second 1 week ago, or actually 1 round ago, 2 weeks ago for the season opener. He at the moment runs in the number 2 position, obviously looking to improve on that. Problem is for the 24, he'll be topside. Good news for his teammate, because the 92 Tony Mongi going to be on the inside of row number 2. EJ O'Rourke outside. I'd keep a half eye if I were you on Nicholas Rasmussen. He's looking pretty good right now, P5. Talk about some of our big movers, though. John Ada, winner from 1 week ago. He's up 6 spots from the start of the race in 8th position right now, just behind Tim. Danny DeBuke up 10 spots in 10th.
Yeah, those are some great runs here in this narrow track as the Mustang lights are out here on the pace car. But this will be interesting to see. I wonder if Mongi's going to let his teammate in.
We'll have to see if they've played ice. Green flag on tap at a quarter. Number 4, the 44 looks for it. Green flag back in the air and clear for P1. That is great news for Brandon Otto. Not the best start for his teammate. You think they did that on purpose? They both get clear contact at the front of the field, though. Brandon Otto's going to turn the 44 of CJ LeVere. Caution flag will fly, and somehow EJ O'Rourke, who I thought was pretty much in the worst spot you could get in P4, he will go to the race lead, but that was a lot of contact off of the restart. We know the 24 of Odo. He has to get something on the restart. We know that's his best opportunity to do so, but he takes a look and he hits the 44 once on the left rear, twice on the left rear, and it was the 3rd time on the left rear that sent that 44 machine around. The 24 was getting pushed from behind, but he definitely initiated the contact in the corner.
Yeah, I think he was trying to have his cake and eat it too there, but and trying to get not only the inside there, but also try and get the race lead in 1, and it just didn't work out for the 24 there. So just a tough break for our former leader now, I guess. Number 44 is CJ LeVere. He's going to go the back of the line there, so he's going to be the last car on the lead lap because he got spun out there. And I know his tires are going to be hurting a little bit from that, so I'll be interested to see, can he make his way back up? Like you talked about, Dan DeBuke was able to make his way up from 20th. So if CJ's got his car, a faster car as we've seen already, I think he might be able to get back up there. It's just a question of, does he have enough time?
A little bit of damage gets passed out in that one. Again, the number 24 got hit in the back end by his teammate, so there's back end damage on Odo's machine. There's front end damage on Tony Mongi's machine. Other than that, I think the primary concern outside of bent sheet metal is bent feelings, because CJ LeVere, you have to expect, not going to be at all satisfied. He's onto the pit lane right now, though. He's trying to get tires, and again, you have to come down. You can't take 4 tires at once. There's just not enough time. So the 44 at the back of the pack comes down, takes 2 right side tires. Take a look to see if he'll come back down, take 2 left sides, and get it a 4-tire stopper if he'll actually save those 2 right side tires for later on in the race. But he does find himself in 19th position, so why not? You're going to have to go for something. He finds himself in an interesting spot, though, because we talked about big movers. Names like John Ada, names like Danny DeBuke, Justin Fuller, Jay DeBuke, big names in the middle of the pack that have taken 50 laps to pass 6, 7, 8 cars. You're trying to do 19 in just as much time, and there's a lot of fast guys in front of you. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for CJ LeVere to get back up through there.
And the caution and the light's going to come back on here in a minute as the number 24, Brandon Otto, he got the EOL penalty there for that wreck, so they have to reorder him now. As now we're going to take the 1 to go here, and EJ O'Rourke went from probably being in a really bad spot to being in a great spot. He's going to be first car on that low line, getting back to the green here, so great move for EJ.
Good news for Eric Hag. The number 98 Hag TV Ford Fusion gets the lucky dog. He's now 19th. He is back on the lead lap for this restart. The pace car going to go down. First time where it is not CJ LeVere, bringing us back to the green flag. What does EJ O'Rourke do? He'll hold them back. Green flag flies and back underway. Half down and half to go with 49 laps remaining on the board at the start-finish line. The 41 Gary Mercer Truck and Incorporated Chevy set sail up front. It's Tony Mongi fighting with Rodney Hack in the number 151 machine, not giving anything up on the bottom. Both of those guys great on each other's door panel on the front stretch. Almost contacted 1. The 92 trying to pinch the 151 down left side tires on the curbing. They stay glued together.
Oh, this is going to be a great battle. Here's the 15 going to drive it in really tough there. Slide up the track a little bit. 8 the curb there out of 4. He's trying to get that spot, but now the 92 drives it in deep. But the 151's going to get there again. The 92's trying desperately. He has him cleared for a minute. He's in there.
And the 97 machine back in the pack. John Ada. Oh, contact in front. The 52 of Bruce Hilton.
They
Justin
save it.
Fuller. They get together. They're going to hang on down to turn number 1 after Fuller to the inside. A little bit of contact there. Smoke it all, but they keep him pointed forward. And Justin Fuller now to P6.
I have no idea how they saved that. I thought we were going to see another caution there. But that was oh man, that was incredible. But right now, I'm hearing there's a car around right now.
DJ LeVere, the 44 machine, he's back pointed straight now. He had problems down in turn number 3. I told you he'd have to get physical to get through this. This right in front of Brandon Odo, right in front of Eric Hag. 4-car topside, and you know, that's just a situation where CJ LeVere knows he's got to get going. It was a little bit too over-aggressive there. That car spun out, though, on the apron inside of the curbing, so it does not trigger a yellow. Battle for the race lead to the bottom. How about Tony Mongi? 7th on the grid, trying to take it away from your top 5 qualifier, and EJ O'Rourke not able to do so with the nose to the inside. He definitely gave her a shot at it that time. It is just the top 2 right now. They're well out in front of Rodney Hack, Brian Rogers Jr., and Nicholas Rasmussen and company, but you take a look out the back of the 41, not a whole lot of space back to the 92 car.
Yeah, the 92 is driving in really deep. He's driving really aggressively here. So Manji's going to try and do what he did to get to that bottom line 8 again. He's going to try and cut down under the 41. Not going to do it this time. He's going to try it out of 4. Not going to do it there. But he is fast and he is hungry right now. And the only thing EJ can really do right now is just block that low line and hope he doesn't get turned here by the quarter panel of the 92. 92 going to dive it in deep here. This time he'll get there. 90 to the inside, but he slides up. Will he be able to hold on to it? He does. He's to the inside. The 92, I believe he led that lap by about an inch. No. See, EJ leads by now, and he's going to get tapped to the outside. And EJ now going to fall back to 2nd.
I'm not sure how friendly the 41 will be this time into turn number 3 and 4, but I think O'Rourke went to let him go. He didn't pinch him. If he pinched him, those guys would have gone off the racetrack when they made contact up front, but O'Rourke gave him enough space. Spinner in turn number 4, the 52 of Bruce Hilton. He is out in the dirt. There won't be a caution flag. He got a little bit of help from the number 97 of John Ada after running P7, and now the caution flag will fly. The number 52 machine is stopped on the front straightaway, so the caution flag is out. And now we slow things down and try to regroup our thoughts and think things back over. Everybody check it out for the pace car, but that was at 12. We saw him out in the grass, no caution flag, came back out on track. Cisco really couldn't find a spotted line because these guys go all the way to the fence, so you saw he was stopped up against the wall. That's why the yellow flag was thrown.
Yeah, just one of those sim deals, you know. It is kind of hard with the automated caution here. Not really a whole lot you could do there.
Or he wanted a caution.
Or he wanted a caution
too. Yeah, there's always 2 possibilities, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He does lose a lap, but...
Yeah, well, I believe he's also going to get the EOL penalty because he did technically bring out that caution.
Yeah.
But just a tough break for him because he went off in the dirt. And once you go off in the dirt, yeah, you're going to be a long time. But strategy move now. 41, I think he missed where the pit road entrance is going to be or guessed the wrong pit road. But he drove
That's
over
unconventional.
he drove over the grass or something. He's going to come in now for pit road and maybe get some tires here.
I'm not sure if we can't get another look at that, but EJ O'Rourke, there's 2 pit roads, and he went through the grass and around one of those light poles to the pit lane. I guess it did the trick because he's in his stall. He got right side tires. He's trying to take 4 at once. Can he beat the pace car, though, at a pit road and not lose a lap? That's the ultimate question for the 41 of EJ O'Rourke. I wouldn't bet on that if you make quite the interesting entry to the pit lane.
Here he
He'll race
comes.
the pit road off, and I think
Barely.
he just gets out in front of the pace car. So EJ O'Rourke, he'll have fresh tires for the final 35 laps, but he didn't give himself much extra time there.
That was close, but just that replay of EJ going through the grass, that's, you know, that just shows how close quarters it is here, trying to get on that bottom line, how mangled that curb can get to your car there and how it can mess it up. But 92 going to get the inside here. The 151 of Rodney Hack, he's going to be on the outside. starting P3 here, Brian Rogers Jr. He started back in 11th, so a great run for him right now. And then Nicholas Rasmussen going to start P4 on that outside. And starting P5 is number 12. Oh, nope. Caution going to come back out here. Looks like we're going to reorder field, but starting P5 is going to be Justin Fuller.
It'll be 17 drivers on the lead lap. Again, a couple of guys at the back half need to get rearranged. What about where your current pole sitter, I guess, was prior pole sitter, number 44 of CJ Laver, started this race from the top spot after winning the NHR Pole Award, got in an incident where he was hit by the 24. I can't say he got in an incident. I guess he got dumped is the best way to put it. He came down the pit lane, got tires, currently back up into the 13th spot as he tries to make his way back forward. So Tony Mangi will assume the race lead at the moment. The 151 of Rodney Hack topside, and then as you mentioned, Cisco, it's Rogers, Rasmussen, and Fuller. Green flag back in the air, the 92 bottom side gets 4 car lengths down to turn number 1. At a good restart for the number 12 Mountain Dew entry means that Rogers gets P2, and there's no room for Rodney Hack. Knock, knock, here comes the A-Design Wraps machine of Justin Fuller. The 51 takes third, contact behind for fourth. Hack gets hit in the left rear. The 17 not taking anything. A lot of contact now, and Rasmussen going to get dumped.
And the caution's going to come out there. Oh, and looks like we have another wreck after the caution. I believe that's the 65 of Jay Dubuque. He got caught up in kind of a secondary, I don't know, it looked like he got pinched there. And really had nowhere to go because the 71 came back on the track and the 65 plowed into the back of the floor of, that's Cale Frenier. So nowhere for those guys to go as the 71 came back on the track, but another one of those secondary crashes. And that's going to take out a couple more cars here as we're slowly starting to lose our field. And not many cars now have no damage on them.
And that was just like the TJ Graves incident. You have the 151 trying to get down in line, the 17 saying, excuse me, not opening up the lane for you. So a little bit of contact there with Philip Thompson in the 151. They all check up, and next thing you know, the 71 of Nicholas Rasmussen, he checks up for the slowed car in front of him. He's now in a third lane, so, you know, he tries to come back down. There's nowhere for him to go. The number 97 of John Ada behind him uses the nose of the 97 to get turned around, and then again, as you mentioned, a couple of guys behind him get caught up in the additional contact, so it brings the caution flag back out. It is very clear, though, by now the second time at least in that very spot in turn 4, that how desperate these guys on the top side of the racetrack are getting while trying to get down in line, and especially with just about 25 laps to go now in this race, they really don't have a whole lot of options but to almost start to force their way down. And I can guarantee you that if somebody didn't cut you a break 20 laps into the race, they're probably not going to cut you a break inside of the final 20, which is what we're approaching.
Yeah, and this caution's going to really hurt the number 41 of EJ O'Rourke. Now he's going to be pacing around at the back. He's running out of time to pass these cars and get back up there. He's going to get a couple here, but due to the EOL penalties, but that's still not a great amount. He could have passed probably a couple more cars if we had been under green flag conditions, so he's going to have to work that much harder to try and get back up to the front.
The Mach 2 Management Hard Charger Award goes out every week to the driver that advances the most positions start to finish. Last week it went to John Ada, who went on to win the race. Right now, it looks like, how about Stefan Marinak? Somebody that we have not even talked about all night long. He started in 25th position in P8 right now. Teammate to CJ Laver, the Mach 1 Racing Graphic Chevy, up at the moment 17 positions. Roger Holtzclaw behind him, up a very good amount, 22nd to 9th position. There's a lot of guys back in the pack using some of the contact up front to really benefit themselves. The base car down. Could it be the last time tonight? 24 laps to go. Green flag flies and back underway. Mangi, no problem getting through to the P1 position. Fuller, though, in second spot. I'd not be pretty comfortable with that 51 machine on my back, Declan. And Fuller wants to get second. 3 wide back in the pack and out of line. There goes Eric Hag. He is off on an off-road excursion. No man's land for the Hag TV machine. Caution flag flies. Big trouble at the start-finish line.
It looked like what brought that caution out was the 17 of Philip Thomas was trying to get in line there and got kind of dumped there by the 81, and he got spun right in front of the pack, and there's a bunch of people that had nowhere to go.
And I must say that I'm not very surprised that it's a car on the outside of the racetrack in turn number 4 trying to get down in line, and they're not clear. And that's the second
You're
time
saying
back
we've
to
heard
back
this
you've
before?
seen that. Almost. It seems like it, and almost like it was one caution ago. But it's the same thing. We talk about how this track is an oval. You don't go into the corner, let off, pick it up, and go all the way around. These guys, they're feathering the throttle a little bit. They're trying to see how much grip they can get. So on the outside, you think you're clear on that guy on the bottom. Once he puts his foot down, that car's right back up on your inside because he has the shorter way around the track. So you think you're clear, you're not. Contact there. These guys wreck, and again, it was the 17 that went around, and then the secondary incident collects a couple of other guys. I saw Eric Hag, though. If there was an outside wall, the 98 would be junked because they were 3 wide down the backstretch. We were talking about that. It was a 20 car top side. Hopefully we can get a look at this one. Al Smith Jr. was up there. This was just before the yellow flew. Hag in the middle, going down into the corner, just got a little bit wide in there. The 20 was there, and I mean, that 98 was spinning through the grass sideways at 75 miles an hour. Caution comes out. He's able to get back on track, doesn't lose a lap, and, doesn't really get a whole lot of damage. He does drop back down to P16 after being 2 laps down and getting to the top 10. He'll have to do it all over again in the final 20.
And right now, our big winner from that caution was Stefan Marinak. He's up to 6 now. He's going to be stuck on that outside, but if he can get to the inside there, we know what he can do in a pro late model. So I'd say keep an eye on that number 96. I think he's going to be my dark horse pick as we're inside 20 to go now.
Inside of 20 to go, let's take a look at where they all run at this point in the Hanson Starter Shop 100. Get you set for the final set of restarts on the evening. Take a quick look at your full field rundown. Tony Monge's your current race leader, followed by Justin Fuller, Brian Rogers Jr., Rodney Hack, Joshua Cotton through P5, Stefan Marinak, Roger Holtzclaw, CJ LaVere, Brandon Otto, EJ O'Rourke in 10, Dan DeBuke, Al Smith Jr., AJ Bunch, Nicholas Rasmussen, Philip Thompson through Eric Hag, John Ada of the 17 drivers on the lead lap. Pace car going to get down. Could this be the last time tonight? Inside of 20 laps to go. Monge in control. He wastes no time. Green flag flies, and 18 to go at Oxford Plains Speedway. Fuller, though, great job on the top side to get the second. The top 2 going to battle it out down the back.
And right now, the first 2, it looks like the first 2 cars side by side is going to be Marinak, and I believe that's the 81 of Joshua Cotton. So coming back from a lap down, Cotton's having a great run. He's up to P5 right now as he's going to try and get to the inside and get clear of Marinak here so he can get set aside to the 4th. He's going to do that now. And meanwhile, EJ O'Rourke, the odd man out, gets kicked to the outside. So a little bit more work for that 41, but he's run out of laps for those fresh tires. Right now, Cotton he's on nitrous, it looks like.
And he's now gone, again, as you said, down a lap and is now past where he started in P6. So he's had a great improvement throughout the evening. Worked out well for Stefan Marinak because the number 96 machine was able to drop down in line. Fuller, though, not putting up much of a fight with Tony Monge. The number 92 machine, the place seat Chevrolet, now half a second in front of the field for the time being. Talking about somebody's sub top side, that's Roger Holtzclaw, the 21 Hoosier Racing Tires champion, involved in that last accident. He's up on the outside of the racetrack. He's not finding many friends. The 24 Brandon Otto, he makes a pass. Check this out, though. The 44 of CJ LaVere, now on the back bumper of the 24. If you remember, 44 went spinning off of the nose of the 24 earlier. That'll be a fun fight for 7th.
Yeah, he's kind of following Cotton through the pack, so it'll be interesting to see. And EJ's kind of the 3rd car in the mix there, kind of coming back through the pack, so it'll be interesting to see which car is going to get there first. Right now, Joshua Cotton's got the lead. He's in 5th, and he's looking to grab that 4th spot from the 151 of Rodney Hack. So 81's going to drive it in there a little bit, maybe try and get to the inside. He's going to do it there. Does he have enough room? No, not this time, but that 81, he's trying to get to the inside now.
EJ O'Rourke does not feel safe right now because the top 2 guys in front of him, they've hit each other 4 times every single lap for the last 2 laps. The 24, the 44. Again, LaVere probably a little bit unhappy with the 24 because this has been CJ LaVere's race till he was ushered out of the race lead past the halfway point. He is giving him a couple of shots, nothing major yet. I'd keep a half eye, though, still on these guys in 7th. You're talking about that battle for 5th in front of these guys, and Rodney Hack, topside in the Augie's bargain outlet machine. He gets shuffled up there, so the 81 of Cotton, he's able to keep that spot, and the 96 of Marinak will pick one up.
And he has enough room now. He's going to get to the inside. The 24 going to dive it in.
Oh,
no,
that was
barely.
close.
But no little bit of contact there, but no caution, no spin or anything like that. And you mentioned that 21 Hoosier, that's Holtzclaw. He's on his way. It looks like he's taking an elevator straight to the ground floor.
He's already back in 14th out of 17 cars and now 16th, and only one driver remains. Eric Hag, though, off the pace in a damaged Hag TV Ford Fusion. Up front, though, Tony Mangi inside of the final 10 laps and almost a second out in front of the field. Things are looking pretty good for the number 92 machine to pick up his first win on the season. Battle behind, though. O'Rourke going to get sideways. The GMTI machine sideways in turn 2. Tried to go to the bottom. Lavere shut the door. These three guys probably will be having at it. P7, 8, and 9. Nothing yet decided.
And right now, another battle on the track is going to be for that third spot. Brian Rogers Jr. has it. Joshua Cotton wants it. He's driving all over the back bumper of that 12, and right in tow of the 81 is the 96 of Stefan Marinak. They're going to try and get to the inside of the 12 here, maybe kick him to the outside, as it looks like we're going to have 4 to go here in the line.
Inside of almost 4 laps to go, the fight for third continues on. The fight for 7th continues on behind them. There is no challenge, though, up at the front of the field. Final step on the podium. Cotton wants it. Rogers has it. The number 12 machine. Great run so far tonight. Stefan Marinak on the back bumper of all of these guys. He wants to complete the charge forward. He's up 20 spots from 25th to P5 right now. That's a set of 3 cars. Behind him, a set of 4 cars. Contact now. The 151 of Rodney Hack. He gets moved up the hill by Brandon Odo. Odo to the inside. Contact with the 44 and the 24. All these guys, they hang on to 2 to go.
Great driving there from everyone to keep it together there. It looked like the 24 kind of punted the 151 in there. Now the 41's going to get loose again. Those tires, I guess he's used them all up. And right now, contact with third. Marinak to the inside. 81's out in the grass. We're going to take the white flag here.
Cotton gets out and he's in the grass and he just wants to get a top 10 finish. Tony Mangi well in front of everybody. 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag in the air, and the Hanson starter shot 100 to Tony Mangi. Fuller will get second. Marinak fights and scraps for third. Still sideways off the corner. They wreck to turn number 1. Brandon Odo can't get around Rodney Hack. It'll be Hack in P5. Odo P6, Lavere in 7th, and O'Rourke in 8th. Those 4 guys made up about as many incident points as the field did collectively in the final 2 laps, and A.J. O'Rourke can't help but to laugh about it. Great racing for P5 on back at the end. Tony Mangi, though, celebrating. He didn't have to deal with much of that one. That was a pretty good win for the 92 machine. Lavere gets taken out from the top spot. The 92 used that to his advantage, and he did not look back for 1 second. He beat Justin Fuller straight up on a restart by 1.4 seconds. That's not an easy thing to do.
No, that was an absolutely great run there, and I've got to give a shout out to Stefan Marinak. He waited, and he's got his opportunity coming to the white flag in 3 and 4. So a great move by Stefan Marinak. He just waited. He was patient.
He didn't even have to hit anybody. I'm sure he was ready to hit him, but the 12 and the 81 took care of each other, and I'm sure he's not objecting to that third either.
I'd be pretty happy right now.
Mangi is satisfied with it. Justin Fuller comes home in second. He might be the only driver inside the top 3 that maybe feels like they should have got a little bit more out of that one. Marinak passes 22 cars to come in home in third position. A great run with 17 drivers finishing on the lead lap. Again, we're glad to have you with us on LSRTV and iRacing Live for round 2 of the 2015-2016 Upstate Racing League Les Enterprises MP Roy Incorporated Pro Late Model Series post-race coming up from the Oxford Plains Speedway. We'll talk to your podium finishers and get you set for Martinsville coming up in just 7 days' time. Post-race in a moment. We'll be back after a couple of words.
Domino's TYJ Racing League is proud to announce we are now taking driver applications for our $2,500 purse inaugural season going green January 2016. At Domino's TYJ Racing League, you get paid cash, not gift cards or die casts. Cold, hard cash. You get paid for finishing 1st through 20th in our championship and 1st through 3rd, plus a lucky dog bonus in all of our 20 races, plus other cash bonuses. You're going to like the way you look, all the way to the bank. I guarantee it. Purse amount approximate, paid cash or iRacing books. Drivers carry less than $20. Report unsafe driving to local authorities. Apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for our league.
lions are notorious for their voracious appetites. They spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
We welcome you back live to the virtual Oxford Plains Speedway post-race from the Hanson Starter Shop 100 for round 2, the 2015-2016 Upstate Racing League Les Enterprises MP Roy Incorporated Pro Late Model Series. Race number 2 comes to a close. Hanson Starter Shop, a big part of tonight's broadcast, offering all of your electrical rebuilding needs in West Chazy, New York. We offer quality electrical rebuilding services in the area, as well as offer reliable and dependable electrical services. For more information on starters, alternators, generators, and interstate batteries, give them a call at 518-493-5103. Stefan Marinac obviously going to come away with the fastest driver on the race. It was John Ada who went on to win last week, who walked away with the Mach 2 Management Hard Charge Award. This time, it'll go to your third place finisher of Stefan Marinac, and now caught up with him. Stefan, first off, a big congratulations to you. I'm going to be honest, in the opening 50 laps of the race, we didn't see the name of the number 96 machine all that much, and once we got to halfway, you're inside the top 15, you get to the top 10, you find yourself in P5, it looks like that was going to be it. Now you come home on the podium, 22 drivers passed in 100 laps. You'll get the Mach 2 Management Hard Charger Award. First off, walk us through that one. Oxford's a pretty tricky track. A lot of the big names in this series got junked up a little bit. How'd you make your way through it and keep that race car looking clean?
Well, I just I tried to get down on the bottom line, and I got tires probably at like lap 40, and that helped out a lot. And I just there were a lot of wrecks in front of me, and I just stayed on the bottom, avoided all of them, and a lot of people got bumped out of the line in front of me, and I was able to pass them. So just a combination of things, and just keeping my nose clean.
What was it like out there on track? Because we obviously know everybody wanted to be on the inside of the racetrack there for those restarts. And because of that, the guys on the top side, they'd pinch down. You'd see guys on the bottom. They'd start hopping on the curbs a little bit. What was it like going out there as that track rubbered in?
You had to go like really slow around the corners, and it was pretty hard to stay on the bottom. But I made the outside work a couple times. You just had to run it a certain way. But it was just like with this fixed setup, it's just so hard to pass. And, if you could diamond the corner pretty good, you'd get a good run off the corner.
Talk us through those final 5 laps there. You get down into P5, and, you had a couple of guys in front of you, and, I'm pretty sure the bumper might have been an option there for you, and we said, well, I'm sure you didn't object to not having to use it, because both those guys in front of you, they end up in the grass there. But coming down to the white flag, how physical would you get there to get that podium spot with 2 guys in front of you?
Yeah, I don't remember who was in front of me, but I was going to give him one more lap, and if he couldn't get around the 12, I was going to give him the bumper. But they got out of my way just in the nick of time, so I didn't have to do anything.
And it keeps that car looking nice here on the podium. Stefan, sponsors, shout-outs, all of those good people who powers that Mach-1 Racing graphics machine to a very strong run tonight, and as well walking away with that Mach 2 Management Hard Charger.
Yeah, I want to thank just the league. This is my first race here, and I had a lot of fun. And I want to thank CJ LeVere for getting me into it. and Mach 1 Racing Graphics. Check us out on Facebook. ITS Racing and LSRTV, you guys, for doing the broadcast.
Well, I know CJ got a little bit roughed up there, Seven, but both of you guys, very strong cars. And again, congrats to you, and good to see you guys here on Thursday night. We wish you the best of luck. We'll see you in Martinsville next week.
Thank you.
So it is the Mach 1 Racing Graphics machine that walks away with the Mach 2 Management Hard Charger Award. One spot up on the podium, coming home in second tonight, the driver of the number 51, Justin Fuller. And Cisco, you've caught up with him.
Yeah, I've caught up with Justin Fuller here on pit road. And Justin, you were in the top 5 for the most for basically the second half of that race there. Talk us through. You had a pretty strong car. Talk us through your race.
Well, we were really looking forward to this race. Love Oxford. Won the race here last season, and just couldn't get the setup right. We were way too tight, and I can't drive tight. So it was a struggle. Qualified 14th, and I knew it was going to be a challenge from there, and it sure was.
You had a little bit of a moment around lap 55 there with the number 52 of Bruce Hilton. You two were able to keep it straight there, but a great piece of driving by you. Is that, talk us through that. I mean, how hard was it to save that car?
Well, we got into it early in the race. I was really patient with him, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was running the bottom, and that was actually the first caution. I bumped him and got under him, and he came down into me, and I took it because I took the caution because I bumped him. And that time he left the hole wide open, and I took it, and I wasn't backing out of it that time. We're halfway into the race, laps are winding down. You give me that hole, I'm going to take it. And I was pretty sideways. I was swatting flies in there trying to save it, but we were able to keep it going straight.
Well, yeah, you do. You came from 14th all the way up to second, so a great charge for you. So you're going to finish second here. Who you want to thank for that spot?
I want to thank Al Smith, Upstate Racing League, MP Roy sponsoring the series, Lake City Hobbies, Hanson Starter Shop sponsoring the race, Lake City RC Speedway, Mach 2 Management, everybody that sponsors this league, LSRTV, you guys doing the broadcast, and can't forget Ada Sign Wraps. You always win with Ada Sign Wraps, so if you ever need a design done, make sure you hit up John Ada on Facebook, and he can design you pretty much anything you want. It don't matter what it is.
We should give this guy a spot in the booth. That's Justin Fuller. He's going to finish second. See you in Martinsville, Justin.
Yes, thank you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for Justin Fuller. I'm going to head down to the drag strip, which is just about a couple steps away there. So some great drag racing going on tonight, but I believe Evan has caught up with our very happy winner down in Coca-Cola Victory Lane.
And it's funny because I accidentally poked him in the middle of his qualifying lap, so I hope he's not upset at me. But Tony Monchi obviously had the race car to get the job done. He qualifies in 7th and walks away with the checkered flag and the win in the Hanson Starter Shop 100 at the Oxford Plains Speedway. Caught up with him now down in Victory Circle. Tony, first off, a big congratulations to you. Strong race car, and it looked like CJ LeVere was the class of the field. He got in a little bit of trouble, that 92 machine. You jumped right on that. And, I mean, even with Justin Fuller behind you, never looked back. 1.4 seconds, well clear for the checkered flag.
Yeah, we had a great run today in my iRacing meme Chevy number 92 car. We had an awesome car. I got to definitely thank my teammates, Brandon Otto and Anthony Bunch, for all their help and support. We got caught up in a little bit of an accident with my teammate, Brandon Otto, and I hope he's not too upset, but, he had some other misfortunes during the race as well. So, good, fortunately enough for us, yeah, we were able to outduel Fuller there, and glad to be able to compete with him. Anytime you're up front with him, you're always doing something right, so.
The front clip on that car looks a little bit corkscrew, but it's in a lot better shape than a couple of these guys out there. How physical did you have to get? I know off of the drop of the green flag, that Corvette, was it a good spot because you found yourself in 7th, so you're on the inside of row number 4. Obviously, though, the outside not the place to be at all tonight. You got guys on the curb, as you mentioned, bouncing off. And it was you and your teammate for a long of it there, but, I mean, what was it like physicality and running around the racetrack? A lot of guys were getting tight in and they were pushing up. A lot of guys were getting loose. Was that car pretty sound, though?
Yeah, our car was pretty good. If you got in a little too deep, you could get on that curb underneath somebody, and it could create some, like you said, some physical contact there. The only real mess we got in, with, like I said, with my teammate, and we kind of got bottled up a little bit. It was just one of those chain reaction type of deals. But other than that, up at the front, it was pretty clean. Battling with EJ and battling with Fuller, it seemed pretty clean to me. But in the back, it sounded like there was some major action going on back there for sure.
Definitely not the season opener that you wanted for the number 92 machine, and I know that it could have been a better result, for Brandon Otto in this one. He starts in second, he comes home in sixth, but all in all, a pretty good start to the season for the iRacing Memes team. You got 10 races left to go. Is the game plan really just to continue running strong every week? And both of you guys, I'm sure, obviously eyeing that championship at the end of it all.
Yeah, we're hoping definitely at the end of the year to be able to be battling for the championship with all three cars. That's optimal for us. That's our game plan going forward, and that's how we're going to attack it. The 14, 24, 92 are all going to work together pretty well, and we're going to see what we can do to be able to get one of us in this championship hunt here.
Oh, if you like contact, then I'll tell you what, Martinsville is in store in 7 days' time for round number 3 on the championship. It's a very different racetrack to this one, but it's kind of the same idea. You got a curb on the bottom, and you got a lot of guys fighting for not a lot of real estate. What's the biggest key for you guys to find success at the paperclip?
I think the paperclip is going to be very successful for us, just like Oxford should have been for some of us. And, one of us couldn't qualify, and the other one kind of got bottled up. So, we're just going to try our best, see what we can do, put our best foot forward, and give it all we got, and we'll see where we end up. Hopefully it's in victory lane with one of us.
RAC Memes, a big part of sponsoring this series, the presenting sponsor for the starting grids on these races, and obviously a big part of your team. Who else do you want to thank for powering your car and your teammates' cars through this season?
Obviously, like you said, iRacing Memes, Manji Motorsports, and that's about it. I got to thank my teammates again, Brandon Otto and Anthony Bunch. Can't thank those guys enough for all their help and support.
Cody, do want to thank you for sticking around and chatting a little bit again. Congratulations to you. Congrats to the team overall for a pretty solid night. Enjoy your next 6 days of racing on the sim. We'll see you next Thursday night from Martinsville. We wish you the best of luck there.
All right, thanks so much. Looking forward to it.
And iRacing Memes, again, a big part of this Upstate Racing League. iRacing Memes has been bringing you sarcastic iRacing posts since 2012. There's fan-submitted content, and it's posted daily, so I make sure to go and give them a like at facebook.com/irmemes to check their page out. And it was Manji, Fuller, Marinac inside of the top 3. Another exciting race into the books, and just happy to be back at it on our Thursday nights on LSRTV. Upstate Racing League, one of the bigger off-seasons we must deal with, so it's always fun when we get these guys back on track. Had our season opener 2 weeks ago, last Thursday off for our special Sarah Fall Brawl event, but these guys back at it for still 10 races through February of 2016. And now that the season opener is gone, race 2 is under these guys' belts, it's really time, Cisco, to, all right, let's get going. We're in the season. You started, you got to start thinking about points, although you really don't want to. It's part of it all. And 2 down, 10 to go. Still a lot of exciting stuff to come. Oxford Plains is an interesting track, but I tell you what, before we leave here and get set for the next race, if there's one track that you could picture a little bit more contact at, maybe the most contact you'll see all season, it has to be at Martinsville. If you watch the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on Sunday, it's probably not going to be much different from that.
Well, I kind of hope not, because we had a couple big storylines come out of there, obviously, in the real life series. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but it's definitely going to be interesting heading to Martinsville. These are pro late models, so it's a little bit of a bigger track, especially with those straightaways for them. The corners, obviously, not so much, but definitely those straightaways. It'll be interesting to see what kind of a launch these cars will get out of the corner. Should be interesting.
A lot of guys go home with some bent sheet metal tonight. 17 of the 26 drivers that started tonight are able to finish on the lead lap, which means that quite a few guys could finish down laps. Drivers that get a DNS on the evening: Jason McGlatchy never took the grid. Cody Myers, your third fastest driver in practice, also did not make a start in the Hanson Starter Shop 100. That is your recap, though. Race number 2 down, and still many races to go. We obviously have to continue to look forward to the rest of the season. There are 10 races to go, and it is going to be Thursday nights on LSRTV, the place to be, and we hope you join us. I don't think we've been off the air in quite some time. I think we might get a break on Saturday, but we have a lot of stuff coming up. Tomorrow night, the Rod Car Truck Tour, the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series, those guys getting doubled up, and I believe we have Pack Majors back on Sunday. You obviously Real Sim Racing Monday, Tuesday, the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. There is so much information. If you want more information on that, you can go to livesimracing.com. Here's a full broadcast schedule there. Also, I do encourage you to follow us on social media. Our Facebook is facebook.com/livesimracingtv. For more information on the series, I encourage you as well, go to upstateracingleague.com. You can find out more information on the series, how to register, points, and all of that good stuff, as well as links to the live broadcast. Cisco, before we step away, final thoughts from a very abrasive Oxford Plains Speedway. We knew it would be fun, and I have to say the most exciting 2 laps was that battle for about P5, I think it was, with Hack, Odo, Lavere, O'Rourke there at the end. That's what short track racing is. Guys were about 45 degrees sideways every single time they held on to it. That's what I expect to see from those guys every single week.
Yeah, and that's just great short track racing. I mean, we're not talking about long run people. It's just kind of tossing your car in there, seeing what you got, who's the best driver, and that was a great example of that right there. And Oxford is always a great track for that. I love coming to this place because the racing's always great. So I'm just looking forward to next week, and we're going to be heading to Martinsville. That should be interesting. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the Upstate Racing League season here. It should be a great battle for the championship.
And again, a big thanks to Les Enterprises, MP Roy Incorporated, NHR Racing, iRacing Beams, and Mach 2 Management for being the presenting sponsors on the season. Martinsville, as you mentioned, the place to be, and it's going to be same time, same place, live on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Until next time, that does it for round number 2. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, and on behalf of the entire LSRTV team and the booth team tonight, for myself, Evan Pazelko, Cisco Scaramuza, and for our executive producer, Laura Lawson, we thank you all for tuning in, and a big congratulations to the iRacing Memes Corvette of Tony Manji, your winner from the Oxford Plains Speedway. We'll see you from Martinsville, Virginia next Thursday night on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.